I should do more efforts in marketing, and that's why I'm so happy that I met you. And I want to keep being in contact with you to learn more and get better ideas and try harder.
Hello and welcome to Beauty and the Biz, where we talk about the business and marketing side of plastic surgery. I'm your host, Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice, What Your Patients Are Saying, as well as consultant to plastic surgeons to get them more patients and more profits. Now today we have a special international surgeon. It's Dr. Andreas Lindahl. He's a board certified plastic and reconstructive surgeon in private practice in Sweden, and he's been on his own since 2012. Now, Dr. Lindahl is also a PhD and CEO, so we'll learn more about that straight from him because I went to his website and it's in Swedish, so I need an interpreter, okay? So he and I actually met very recently in New York at this killer conference called New York Facelift and Rhinoplasty Masters Course, and it was attended by surgeons from all over the world. So it was a pleasure to meet him along with some of the others, just to see how they do business in their own countries. So Dr. Lindahl, welcome to Beauty and the Biz.
Well, thanks a lot for having me.
Absolutely. Let's just start out with, how did you become a plastic surgeon? Did you come from a family of plastic surgeons, or is there another journey you took?
Well, I always wanted to be a surgeon, but I don't come from a family of doctors at all. My dad was a farmer, but I've always been hardworking and very practical. So somehow I knew I wanted to be a surgeon. And so after high school, I went to university, to medical school in a classic university town in Sweden called Uppsala. Mm-hmm. If you like the show, the Netflix show Vikings, you've heard of it, right?
Okay.
You've almost been there. And so I trained there. I started working in general surgery first, which is a common way to start out if you want to be a plastic surgeon in Sweden. Only the university hospitals in Sweden train plastic surgeons, and they don't train that many because the population is only about 10 million in this country. So, every second year or so, they train one or two. So generally, they can pick and choose. And so they get like 200 applicants for one position. And so it's a good idea to already know how to do some surgery and be of help when you apply. And so I did 4 years of work in general surgery, and then I trained for 5 years in plastic surgery. And I got really excited about that. And I worked in the burn unit, which led me into research. And they had the best research program for a guy like me was in the burn unit. So I did research there on intense critical care for big traumas like surgical traumas, and we modeled after burn traumas, and that was exciting.
Is that where the PhD came from?
Yeah, so I did my dissertation in 2012, and so that's what we call the finalization of a 5-year full-time research fellowship. Mm-hmm. That's the dissertation here. I mean, I know it's different between different countries, and so that's how I got my PhD.
Do you have some kind of a fellowship like we do, where you spend a year with a seasoned surgeon who kind of shows you the ropes for business and marketing and new surgical techniques?
Well, I mean, if you think about this country, it's only, like I said, 10 million people, and they don't train very many plastic surgeons. And when they do, they spend a lot to train that guy or gal. And usually the hospitals don't want to lose them.
Yeah, they want
so they are quite effective in ensuring that we don't learn anything about aesthetic surgery. So when you do the 5-year training and become a plastic surgeon, you don't know anything about aesthetic surgery, and the hospitals want to keep you. And so over time, more and more people have gone into aesthetic surgery, but they don't have the proper training for it quite often. And it is common here to do a fellowship after you're a specialist, but not in aesthetic surgery. There's no such thing really, with a few small exceptions. I mean, everybody in America knows about Per Hayden, and he's got international fellows, but those are very short, and those are usually for people from abroad coming in for a very short time. And so what happened after I did my thesis was that I was asked by a private clinic with a single surgeon in Stockholm if I wanted to be trained by him. And that, to me, that was quite unusual and unexpected.
What was his motivation for wanting to train you? He wanted to bring you on board?
I don't know. I just, the department by law has to send out their plastic surgeons for 3 weeks to a private practice to know what it is. So they decided to send me to this particular guy because he was friendly with the department. And I worked with him for 3 weeks, and he just asked me after that, "Do you want to stay?" And so I was very fortunate. I wasn't planning on going into aesthetic surgery, really. I was planning on staying in the hospital, doing microsurgery and breast reconstruction, microsurgically, and keep doing my research. But, I thought about it back and forth, and I just decided that, hey, like everybody else, when I grow old, I'm going to want to be able to do this too. And I don't want to do it haphazardly. I don't want to half-ass it. If I'm doing it, I want to be the best. So I just took this opportunity, and life took a big turn because I enjoyed it so much.
So you went in right away? Like you only worked for the hospital until your dissertation, and then you got to go to this guy
Yeah,
to do aesthetics, and you got to leave right away, or?
right, pretty much. I mean, remember, I worked 10 years in the hospitals. So it's a long,
Okay.
with all the general surgery and the long and the extra long training in plastic surgery, because I did my dissertation mostly in the nighttime and working clinically in the daytime. So that was more than 10 years of surgery right there. But after that, I got on a temporary leave for 6 months to try this fellowship out, and I got stuck.
Nice. But wait, then you went into private practice after that? Or how long were you with that?
Yeah, so this fellowship was all about learning everything in aesthetic surgery and about how to run a private practice for
Nice.
aesthetic plastic surgery. So I started learning and just kept going and going. So I worked with him for 3 years, 4 years, and well, that's how I got to learn aesthetic surgery.
And then when did you go private after that? Did you leave him and open up your own place?
Well, as it so happened, I got 3 kids in a very short period of time. Uh, like we talked about, trying to do too many things at the same time when I was in New York. But I think I did just that. I got 3 small children, and I decided I wanted to spend more time with them and not just work. And this fellowship was in Stockholm, which isn't far, but it's a lot of traffic, and it's hard to know. You have to leave very early if you're going to be there in time for surgery. And so I just decided to see my kids more and work in Uppsala. So I started working for a big plastic surgery franchise called Art Clinic. I called a surgeon I knew a little bit and said, "Hey, can I work with you? Because I want to see my kids more." And he said, "Sure, why not?" And so I worked with them for a number of years, I think 4 or 5 years.
As a contractor, or was there equity involved in a partnership?
No, so that was such a big firm, so it wasn't the right time to become a partner or anything in that firm. It was this their clinic here in Uppsala was the smallest one out of three, and they had two other very big clinics. And so I just worked there as a contractor for a couple of years, just to be able to, have a normal life. And that's, those were good years, but I really, really was motivated after that to start my own practice.
Yeah, it's a journey to private practice. It's never a straight road. So
Sure is.
did you shorten your commute when you took on your private practice, I hope?
Well, the 2 or 3 years following up, right before I started my own clinic, I didn't have to commute, so that was good.
Mhm.
It was a good life, but obviously I decided to set up the clinic very close to home.
Good. Good. How did you know where to set up shop? And do you buy places there, or do you just lease condos with offices? How does that work?
Yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, since we have socialized medicine here,
Mhm.
and like I was telling you before, the hospital really don't want to lose their surgeons. Um, you could say they make it hard in other ways too, to set up private practice. And so, for example, it would be lovely to, like in France or in the United States, perhaps, to have a small office and then, rent a team or rent an operating theater at the hospital to operate your patients. But you can't do that, at least not in this part of the country. So what you have to do when you set up your own shop is that you have to make sure that you have the facilities that you need and the team that you need. And so I have my own operating theater and a ward for aftercare, and I have a couple of rooms for the nurses to work in, and so it's about 400 square meters, my place.
That's fantastic. And they didn't give you trouble with the regulations to set up your own surgical suite?
I mean, not really,
Nice.
um, because when you think about it for the first time, you think, it's going to be pretty tough with regulation in a country like this,
Mhm.
um, where everything is very regulated and honest and good. And the thing is that regulation is too weak in this country when it comes to private medical care and private aesthetic surgery in particular. And so when we did our research, we found out that our standards were much higher than the um, standards by law.
Mhm.
But it was a lot of work. So you have to have the right kind of ventilation systems, and you have to have the right um, fire extinguishing systems, and so there are a lot of things to think about, obviously.
Hello there. Quick pause to ask you if you have gaps in your practice draining your time, profits, and peace of mind. If so, I can help you streamline, grow, and take the guesswork out of your practice. Book your practice growth strategy review at catherinemaley.com, and let's turn those gaps into growth. Now, back to the podcast. Are you still doing reconstructive or just cosmetic?
Well, I think the line between those two are pretty tenuous.
Mm.
So I think a lot of aesthetic procedures,
Mhm.
in part, are reconstructive, and I think I do about 50-50. So
Yeah.
the reconstructive work I do is funded by the patients. So the reason I'm doing it is because I love it, but also because the welfare system can't really handle the demand anymore. So for example, patients that may have trouble breathing through the nose, I operate those because they don't want to wait for 2 years to get help. And breast reconstruction after cancer. some people come here for that because they don't quite trust the the Medicare system. So
Hmm. I asked about that because oftentimes when you're doing recon and you're almost pitted against the system, and then they can make that difficult. Like sometimes they charge horrendous amounts, or they won't, they can just make your life more complicated. And even
yeah,
in England, I think even if you go private, you still have to commit to so many hours at the hospital, if I'm not mistaken. Do
yeah, I
you have
heard
that as
that
well?
too. But here it's more watertight, you're either in or you're out,
Mm,
basically. So, I mean, it's also different in different parts of the country. So I know that in some other parts of the country, the doctors, when they become a certain age or whatever, they're allowed to work privately a little bit, but they have to stay in the hospital. I think Uppsala is more conservative in a way and very dedicated to research. And so either you're there 110% or you're not there.
mhm.
And I decided to actually not be there because I wanted to really do this well and put 110% of my efforts into being a good aesthetic surgeon.
Are you comfortable with your decision or do you have any regrets?
Oh, yes. I mean, it comes down to what kind of person you are, but I love working at the hospital. I love that. But you know, when I'd been working for about 10 years at a big university hospital, and I thought back and realized that every Tuesday we have a doctor's meeting and we discuss things that we must make better. We must make changes. And I realized that, we're talking about the same challenges now as we did 10 years ago. And I guess I have too much of ADHD in me for that. I just wanted to, I read a lot and I like science and I read at least 1 hour a day, plastic surgery science. And if I realize that you can do this better, I start today. And you
Mhm.
can't do that in the hospital. So I just love my life right now where I can just do what I think benefits the patients
Good
always.
for you. Are you a complete surgical practice or are you also offering non-surgical procedures to your patients?
Well, it's a good question. I think a lot of clinics um, do both,
Hmm.
and I think you have to do both. But when it comes down to it, I'm a surgical guy. I have been, I do a lot of fillers, but I only do it for the patients that I already have as patients that I did a facelift for or whatever. Um, and so, and I have a lot of Botox patients, but I do it myself
Hmm.
because I know it's not, it's about the same debate here about certain treatments as you got in America, right? But I think, um, a regulatory person I talked to a couple of years back said that, now we have in this small country over 1,200 clinics doing Botox and fillers.
Hmm.
And a very small number of those are doctors.
Hmm.
And what I'm seeing is that, all the problems associated what we call filler fatigue.
Hmm.
you know, Everything is about volume, although maybe only 5% is about volume.
Hmm.
Every time I have a new consult, I have at least 10 women coming in every week telling me, the first 15 minutes I have to spend listening to how they're so mad
Hmm.
uh, that they spent so much on fillers and that they did all these thread lifting. And I'm not against fillers. I love fillers. I have trained filler nurses and injectors for many, many years. But I'm against the misuse of them. And so right now is not the time for me to have injectors. There may be a time in the future, but But right now, most people come here because they want to get rid of their fillers. They wanting to make them filler free. And so I make them filler free and do a deep plane facelift.
As a filler patient, though, when you're new at this, you don't know any of this, then you'll go to somebody who will overfill you and you think that's how it's supposed to be. And then
Right.
as you're like, I'm a veteran at this, so I know better, but I've had better results with one filler and a surgeon who knows what they're doing
Right.
versus three syringes, and I look ridiculous, So crazy.
I sometimes compare it to alcohol because, having one or two glasses of wine, you feel so good.
Yeah.
And so you think, maybe I should have the whole bottle.
Yeah.
And you do, but it doesn't feel any better.
Yeah. It goes
It's,
downhill from there. Yeah. So, what would you say is your biggest challenge running a solo practice?
I would say it's having staff because I wasn't trained to do that. I mean, I think that's the biggest challenge for many of my peers and friends too. We're trained to be doctors and we know how to do that, and we don't know anything about having staff that we're holistically responsible for.
Yeah. Any hiring tips that you've learned throughout your journey with staff?
I think a very important thing for me is to get the right people on the bus.
How do you
It's like,
know?
how do you know? You have to be very careful. You have to find ways to not um, tie them up too soon,
Mhm.
because to me, it's much more important that you have the right person on the bus, and you can teach them anything if they want to be part of your team, if they want to, develop. But just having a degree or being the best on paper doesn't mean as much because you can always teach them.
Mhm. I agree. Any growth plans? Do you stay where you're at? Do you try to bring on new associates? What are you planning on doing with your practice?
Um, right now, I don't have any plans to scale it because I enjoy my situation so much
Good.
in the past 5 years. I, I I mean, I'm not driven by anything but trying to be the best I can be.
Mhm.
Uh, and my main focus there is facial plastic surgery. So it's all the things we talked about in New York City. It's deep um, structural neck lifts, it's deep plane facelifts, it's a lot of endoscopic lifts, and all the small surgeries that we put in there at the same time. And that's what I want to be good at. I mean, if the right person comes along, I'd be happy to train and work with another person. But I just turned 50 and I can't waste any time now trying to expand. I want to focus on surgery.
So many surgeons have grown and regretted it. They said they were happier when it was smaller and they could contain it, and they didn't have to bring it home with them every night or at 2 in the
Yeah.
morning. So I wouldn't push that if it's, I mean, listen to yourself. If that's not your thing, why do it? Why?
No, no, it's my passion to do this work, and it's not my passion to uh, sit at a desk and be in charge of 10 other surgeons.
Yeah, that sounds brutal. By the way, you're a plastic surgeon. You don't want to do body anymore. You just want to focus on face?
Well, I think the beauty of surgery is more in facial surgery. I have been focusing a lot on breast in the past. We have set up this facility and this clinic with a very large operating theater because we've done master classes for surgeons from all around the world, and they've come here and we've hosted like 5 or 6 at a time, and they can be in the theater. There's lots of space, and we teach them about breast augmentation and all the adjuncts to that. However, it's just not as challenging and fulfilling. So
Mm,
I do everything. I've always been very proud to that I can do everything, you know, initially based on this long fellowship in aesthetics.
mm,
Uh, to me, it's natural that, hey, if you can't do a rhinoplasty properly, are you really an aesthetic surgeon? I
mm,
mean, many claim that they are, but to me, that was never the case. So I do everything, and I've done a lot of it. But patients, I've come to realize that patients, they don't want to see, they don't appreciate that you have huge experience. They want a specialist in their mind, an expert that can do one thing. And for me, that one thing naturally over time became deep plane facelifts and
mm.
rhinoplasty.
Yeah. By the way, I mentioned at the beginning of your intro, you also own the title of CEO. Does that have
Right.
anything to do with the side hustle of the using the surgical suite to train other surgeons?
No, not really. I
Oh.
mean, I had to set up my own business
Mm.
to I mean, I need this facility and I need staff, and I am motivated by having my own team.
Mm.
And we run that as a business, and somebody has to be the CEO, and it's me right now.
Oh, good for you. Let's talk about marketing because I'm always fascinated when I travel internationally, how over the top American can be when it comes to marketing. We don't seem to have any limits here, and I'm just used to that. And then you go to other countries, and I don't even see the word Botox anywhere. What's it like in Sweden? Is it popular like it is here? Is it mainstream or still hidden? What's the landmark there?
I think I think marketing here is very different from America. I've made the mistake of being too Americanized many times, I think. I always look to America because there are so many great facial surgeons there, and I like America. But when I watch too much of the American advertisings, and that sort of is contagious, and I start to do sort of the same things, people don't like that. I don't think.
Give me an example of a marketing mistake you made that their patients didn't
Oh,
like.
there are so many. I
Oh,
mean, I suck at marketing. I'm the worst. Um, yeah, let me think and come back. Um,
like a big magazine ad that everyone saw and pounced on, a billboard.
Well, obviously, you made tactical mistakes that I just don't know enough. I mean, one time there's this magazine for if your yearly income is over a certain level, they give you this magazine here,
We have
and
that too.
yeah, and so I wrote an article sort of like it was marketing, but it was also an article. And
It's called an advertorial. It's an
right,
yeah.
thank
I
you.
love those. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
never
and
heard.
I enjoy writing, so I wrote that, and we had high hopes, and I think the readers could come and have a free consultation with me, and it was the worst consultations of my life. I mean, those people that supposedly could afford anything
Mm,
they wanted,
mm,
they just, they were bored, and they just wanted to ask me, what's it like being a plastic surgeon, really? And I was like, what?
mm.
And so no surgeries came out of that.
Oh,
That was a big mistake. But we tried it, and that's what we still do. We try out things, and some of it works, kinda, but a lot of it doesn't.
is PR popular there? Are you trying to get on TV or cable or any of that?
Um, I mean, I think it's my own fault. I should do more efforts in marketing, and that's why I'm so happy that I met you. and I want to keep being in contact with you to learn more and get better ideas and try harder. But I think definitely TV would be a huge thing for us. I accidentally did a TV show many years ago. I had this patient that she lost, more than 2/3 of her total body weight,
Oh,
and she came to me and we decided after some consultations to do a surgery where we did brachio armplasties and thigh plasties at the same time. And when we scheduled the surgery, she said, I have a TV team following me. Is that all right? And I said, well, as long as they don't hurt you in any way, I'm fine with it. And so we had this TV team follow us, and it was a lot of fun. And after that, there was a definite surge in demand.
good. And then you never did it again?
And then I never did it again because I'm so stupid.
So the beauty is, though, it doesn't sound like you have a ton of competition. I mean, do you have a Park Avenue like we have where there are 150 surgeons on that street? Do you have that kind of thing, or?
No, we don't. I mean, the first 3 years I worked in a place that would be the most the equivalent of Park Avenue. We have nothing like that, but it's the Park Avenue of Sweden. That's where I worked, and not many surgeons there. In the past 5 years, we've had a large number of new clinics coming up, but I don't necessarily see them as competitors. I see them as colleagues, and we do different things. I think many of the new clinics have surgeons that they came straight out of the hospital and did no fellowship, and so they're it's learning by doing
Right.
for them, and I think that's what happened for us when we went, more and more towards just ladies over 40, a holistic facial rejuvenation. We don't find that competition in that particular area of plastic surgery is astounding.
I'm a huge fan of the riches are in the niches and the aging face. If nobody else is doing that, you can specialize in that, put your signature procedures together, and you can win just by focusing, not trying to be everything to everybody. So good for you. You figured that out.
Right.
But tell me the patient
You
trends.
should have told me that 10 years ago.
Sorry, I didn't know you said. So, any patient trends? Are they getting a lot younger now, like they are here? Do they want something different than they used to want? What's the feeling there?
I think Sweden is when it comes to facial rejuvenation, Sweden is way behind America right now, and I think sure they're a little younger now than 10 years ago, but people are still afraid. They've seen horrible facelift results, and they just now realize that there is something called deep plane facelifts, and I don't know. I think we're way behind, and what I'm trying to do with social media, because I'm not very good at it, but I try to educate, and it's so it becomes more like what you did when you worked in the hospital. You had to teach students, and you had to do lectures, and I try to do that with my patients. My consultations are quite long. I always spend at least 1 hour in a consultation. I think in every other place I've ever worked, they gave me 20 minutes to 30 minutes maximum. It works for the business, but it doesn't work for the patient because they have no clue what they're doing.
But that's where video comes in. The next best thing to the
Right.
real you is the video of the real you. So I'm a big proponent of have the patient educated before they meet you because number one, they know how great you are then, and they already are pre-framed with, okay, this is what I need to know, this is what I already know. And then the consultation, quite frankly, isn't as educational as it is, now let's talk about you, patient. What brings you in? What's going on?
Exactly.
And what other questions can I answer for you? It's a different, it's not, it's more like a two-way presentation rather than you presenting,
Yeah.
for an hour. I think that would be exhausting. I think as you get older too, you'll be like, these
Yeah.
consults are crazy. This is taking me a long time. And when you keep saying the same thing over and over, and that's when I say, if you keep repeating it, get it on video and just see if they can watch that ahead of time and save a little time in the consult. Just saying.
I think that's a great idea, and I think it's starting to pay off already because, that's the optimal situation. Like you say, when they come in, they already know the things I used to say for an hour,
Hmm.
but now we can focus on them. Why is that better than that? And
Hmm.
yeah, everything, the whole discussion and consultation gets to another level
Yes.
when they're primed, knowing basic stuff. And I think we should talk about this more because I need to become much better at priming the patients because
Mm-hmm.
the people that come here, they have a lot of the time they've been to two or three other surgeons who
Mm-hmm.
told them that they shouldn't have a deep plane because it's too
Yeah.
dangerous or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to start from
Yeah.
scratch and say, okay, what are the risks and why are they there?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Just out of curiosity, are the Kardashians popular in Sweden? Do you follow them like we do here?
actually, you're asking the wrong person
Oh,
because I know who they are, but
yeah.
I have no interest.
Well, the reason I mention that is Kris Jenner
Yeah,
just got a deep-plane facelift
I
like a
know.
couple weeks ago, and all the surgeons jumped on it. Not all, but I
Right.
mean, the big guys jumped on it to talk about it. And she's at that stage where it looks so perfect. When you're
Yeah.
still like a little swollen, and the
Yes.
surgeons are all saying, everybody, don't get that excited. It's not going to stay this way. And they were just trying to like just jump on that dialogue, that was happening. But
Yeah.
but when somebody like that gets a deep plane, that's very helpful to you. But then
Yeah.
also now it becomes another part of the discussion because nobody ever heard of it. Now all of a sudden, oh my God, I have to have a deep plane. Isn't that interesting that the patients are asking
Yeah.
for that specific kind of technique?
Yes.
It's so crazy.
It is, and I'm just waiting for that day to come here over in Sweden because um, the famous people that I operate,
Mhm.
they don't want me to show them anywhere. So it's
Yeah.
it's difficult. I can't show my work because
Mm.
they want to keep it quiet.
Not even one of them?
Not many, not if they're um, in the public eye.
I would keep asking because I used to believe that until I worked with the Park Avenue guys and the Beverly Hill guys. How do they
Right.
make it happen? I mean, some
Hmm.
of this is mindset from the own surgeons, and some of it is true, but a lot of it isn't. I think if somebody else can do it, you can do it. And then you just
Yeah.
have to model what they're doing. How are they making that happen? And I know a lot of tips and tricks on how that happens, but I just want you to know that it's not always what you believe is true. It's what you believe in your own head that makes it true,
Right.
Because I guarantee you have some influencers that would be more than happy to brag about you because they love their result.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but some, and you only need one
Yeah.
or two. So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, regarding marketing channels, what is working for you? Like, obviously, the magazine didn't go so well. The TV did, and then you just did it one time. What else are you doing to get your name out there?
I mean, uh, I have the greatest guy ever managing our website and
Oh,
also our Google accounts. And
mm,
for us, that's been very important.
good.
I don't know what I would do without him. So for us, the website is the main. The website and Google are is the main source of patients.
So he's doing your SEO behind the scenes. So Google's ranking
Yes.
you, and because those are the best leads. Usually the organic, they came to your
Yeah.
website, they checked you out. Those are good.
So every week he calls me and he asks me, "Hey, can you write an article about this?" And he puts it on the website, and I'm like a stupid monkey. Yeah, I can write about that. And and I write about it and I send it over to him and he puts some beautiful pictures in there and the SEO goes up. So that's the most important thing for us. But I think I've underestimated the power of social media, and now that I start to get the hang of it, I'm kind of worried, what's going to happen with social media in 5 years or 2 years because of AI? Are people going to want to follow anybody if they're not authentic? And who's authentic? And I'll just learn at my pace.
Yeah, I noticed you're doing a good job on social media. You've got 9,000 followers, so you're off to a good start. Are you spending much time on that? And if you are, like how big of a chunk of your time is being spent on that?
Too much, way too much. But um, I mean, why is that? I think it's because I can't start until I've done all the other chores of running a business. So I have to start late at night, and then I have to learn new programs.
It's the whole thing. Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you.
so it's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
but of course you can structure it, and I think I'm at a point now where I could, just go in and into my office and do maybe 10 reels who are
Mhm.
like that are like short lectures, and it's going to become more and more efficient.
Right? Yeah, we'll talk more about that. There's such an
Yeah.
easier way to do all this content because it'll take all of your time, and it wouldn't be bad if that's where the revenues are coming from. But it sounds to me like more of them are coming from your writing the article and getting the SEO organically
Yes,
than
right
the
now.
other. So just spend your time where the best results are, and then you won't. Because a lot of times you resent doing the hard work and it doesn't even pay off. You're like, well, then why
Right.
the heck are we doing this?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're up to the hour. Let me ask you the last question. Tell us something we don't know about you.
Um, I mean, most things you don't know about me, but
Give me a
one
good.
thing would be that, I really enjoy playing the saxophone and I
Oh, that's
enjoy
interesting.
woodwork.
Oh, saxophone and woodwork. Oh my God, you have two hobbies. Wow.
Yes.
Good for you. And you have three kids and a wife, I assume. And my
Yes.
goodness, you are busy. But that's good because when you're ready to retire, you have something to fall back on.
And 2 horses.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I love horses.
So it's a little crazy, but it's a lot of fun.
Do you live on a farm?
Nope.
You keep the horses at a stable somewhere and you have to drive there to play?
Yeah. I mean, it's my wife's main interest. So
Yeah.
so it's dressage and she's training them all the
Wow.
time.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, that's really interesting. Well, your wife sounds very interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
So,
much more interesting than I am,
so
I
all
think.
right, we're going to wrap it up. Anybody, if they wanted to contact you and talk about the Swedish way of doing plastic surgery,
Yeah.
your Instagram is
It's at Dr. Lindahl, Dr. Lindahl.
Lindahl.
Yeah, I have one for me as a
Mhm.
surgeon, and
Mm,
there's one for the clinic, Caro Viva.
gotcha. And so your website is called
Yeah.
caraviva.se. Okay. Everyone, that is going to do it for us. Dr. Lindahl, it's been a pleasure getting to know you better. We'll definitely be talking more. And everybody, if you would, please subscribe to Beauty in the Biz so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And then if you've got any questions or feedback for me, please leave them on my website at catherinemaley.com. Or you can always DM me on Instagram at Catherine Maley MBA. Thanks so much, and we'll talk again soon.
The fastest way to success is to model other successful surgeons who have what you want, but you can only see their results, not the path they took to get there. So you continue to jump from one thing to another, hoping to find something that will work for you too. But it rarely does. So try this shortcut instead. It's guaranteed to move you forward. I compiled my intellectual property to grow cosmetic revenues, everything I've gleaned over the years, into one playbook of the most successful practices and what they do to win. Go to cosmeticpracticevault.com and let's grow your cosmetic revenues.